this is a black box G1W dash cam that we're going to be installing today. This is probably one of the cheaper dash cams that you can get that actually has decent quality in terms of the picture and operation. It does record in 1080p, and it's got a really cool feature where it'll auto-write any information on the card after the card gets full. And we got a 32 gigabyte right here. This should be a class 6 that we ordered, 32 gigabyte, so should provide plenty of space for our recording needs. It was an extra 10 bucks on top of the 50 that was paid for the actual dash cam. It actually clips onto this mount down here in the bottom. Just pull that tab up and slide it over. I'm not going to pull it off because it was a pain in the ass to get on. It's super snug, so there's no chance it's going to fall off. The only way I'll take it off is I know there is a mount that clips to the rear view, but today what we're going to do is just mount it behind to the windshield. I've got glass cleaner to clean it up, and there's a suction cup mount. You flip this lever right here, and after I pull that protective film off, it should suction cup directly to the windshield and hold pretty solid. And then of course it's just a power adapter that plugs into your cigarette lighter, and it'll turn the unit on and off when the truck is running. So it's off when it's just sitting, and then it'll turn right back on whenever we start the truck and automatically start recording. So it's really a plug and play sort of a deal. It's got a nice long cord, so all you got to do is hide it along the trim. So we'll probably run it along the windshield there, and then down the A-pillar, and then hide it behind the dash. I was able to get it suctioned to this mesh shit, whatever it's called, but whatever it is, it's textured, and I was afraid it wouldn't stick there very well, but it's solid. I'm pulling on that pretty good, and it's not coming down. So I like that positioning. It's hidden from view. I should have a good view of the road while we're driving, especially since it's a little bit higher up, and it's still adjustable, and there's a ring up here to tighten it up when I get into position, but I'll wait until we have it on so you can actually see the view that we're getting. And I'll show you what it looks like from the outside. You can see that it's there, but I don't think you're gonna notice it unless you're looking for it, at least not from a distance. Maybe if you walked up to the vehicle, you're like, oh, hey, there's a dash cam here. But most people aren't paying attention to that. Yeah, $50, it's so worth it. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm gonna go ahead and run the power next. So the first step of running the wire, of course, is to plug it in, and the port's right there. And then what I went ahead and did is there's this piece right here. It just slides down, and you can pull it out. I don't want to do that because I just messed with it. This wire I ran underneath this, and it's going to run into the headliner. It looks like there's plenty of space to get in there, so it shouldn't be too difficult to run, but I'm going to run it and go down one of the A-pillars, and we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so I hit it behind that little cover right there, and it's kind of sticking out right there. I'll see if I can tuck it up a little bit, but because of the angle that it's coming out from there, it's a little bit more exposed. Now, there might not be any fixing that, but it's run just underneath the headliner. After that one point, it's nice and tucked under there. You can't even see it. There's a little bit of gap, so it's really easy just to slip up there, and it should stay. And then when we get to this corner, it gets really tight up against the windshield, so I was barely able to pry that back and tuck that under there. And I'm really happy that it's like that, because it'll make it impossible for it to slide out. And then I hit it just behind this piece, just slid it down underneath, and then I went ahead and slid it all the way down the door seal. So it's running all the way down here. And there's a panel right here that I took off. I shoved it back here. And you can see it hanging down right here. And I've got it run just behind this panel right here. And so that's all the farther we've gotten. You can see it lying on the floor there. So we'll just have to finish running it underneath that panel. So I plugged it in over here after running it behind that panel. And so at that point I had it hanging out pretty much right here. And so I had a bunch of slack and ran it and went ahead and plugged this in and then ran the cord so there's no excess underneath this panel right here. So it's tucked in behind here, but it's all tucked in either behind the carpet or underneath this panel as much as I possibly could. And so it's run back behind there, and then there's this cord right here that they already had running from back here, so I just followed it to the back of this panel that's covering everything up. So it actually ended up being a very clean install, very easy to run cable. I mean, it's quite thin, so I was actually quite impressed with how easy it was to run. You can see it's already on. It turned on the second I plugged it in. So I'm pretty excited to get the thing recording and see what kind of footage it takes and making sure I get my shot aligned properly. Alright, so first thing, all the doors are shut, ignition is off, the keys are right here, and even if I open the door to turn off all the accessory power to the vehicle, the power adapter stays on. So the camera is going to stay on permanently until I tell it to turn off by pressing the power button. And we tried it in the other port and the same thing happens. But I went through all the settings and got the date and time set up, and there's a whole bunch of different settings that you can go through. How to set it up is in the user manual. I'm not going to go through all that. But other than that, the bitch is installed. It was really easy and it looks fucking awesome. It's been about 2 weeks since we've installed this dash cam. Been pretty impressed with how it operates. The 1080p resolution looks fantastic. You get about 6 hours of footage on one 32 gigabyte card. It's really easy to pull out and plug into the computer to pull footage off of there. This camera does have a microphone and you can toggle it on and off, but I like to keep it on because I love the sound of the truck, as you can also capture some pretty hilarious banter sometimes. We've documented quite a few idiots driving around. So I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description or on the screen so you can take a look and watch St. Cloud's finest yourself. The only complaint I have about this camera is the date resets to January 1st, 2016 every time we use it. So we completely lose our inaccurate date stamp on this thing, which is annoying. It really defeats the purpose of getting documentation of events that have occurred. If you don't unplug it, it won't reset, but then it just keeps on running, and don't want to drain the battery of the truck either, which wouldn't be so bad if it was only a day or so, but let's say let it sit for a while. It's not much of a drain, but even a little bit adds up over time. If you plan on copying the video files off of the card after you're done driving around for the day, make sure you've got a lot of hard drive space on your computer, because I go through and weed through them and pick and choose what I want to save, because it saves in 5-minute chunks of files, and even then I still have 40 gigabytes of footage saved already, so it adds up quick, and that's 9 days worth. And now we'll get some footage of us driving around and you can see how it looks. Are they escorting this wide load? This is just an update on the dash cam that we got. We've had it for 43 days now. I've captured 167 gigabytes of footage that I felt was worth saving, and the suction comes undone. It's been stable lately, but it's up there on that screen, and it doesn't hold the greatest. Somehow I managed to keep it up there for a while now, but it does tend to fall down. Without those issues, the footage has been great, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's been a good investment.